Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is a special episode. We're going to be talking about a long-necked dinosaur, a type of sauropod called Rapetosaurus. And Rapetosaurus in Greek or Latin means giant lizard. And it was found in Madagascar, so in the small island of Madagascar. Lived 72 to 66 million years ago. And would have actually weighed probably less than say 50 tons, and probably more like say 30 tons, and then it is a herbivore. And so this thing was a plant eater. So Rapetosaurus probably had a very small population, concerning that it was only that these animals were probably pretty much living in Madagascar throughout most of its life and throughout most of their lives. And so they're very little resources. So that's why Rapetosaurus is actually going to be a very small sauropod. So it is considered a titanosaur. So it is a part of the titanosaur family. And when you actually look at this animal, you can see it's kind of small for a sauropod, and so it is reasonable. It's because once you're on a small island, your size is going to get smaller. So there's probably a common ancestor to Rapetosaurus probably was on the mainland of Africa, and then pretty much got into Madagascar when Madagascar was connected to Africa. And then all of a sudden, this animal couldn't actually survive in a very small island, being really huge. And so all I had to do was shrink in size. And so that's what happened in the Hatag Island dinosaurs, is that they got really small. It's because some of these animals just couldn't actually survive in a small island with very little resources. And so once your food supply is very small, you have to get smaller as well. And so you actually have to rely on getting smaller that way. And so pretty much Rapetosaurus is prey. It is going to be prey to one particular type of theropod dinosaur, and that is Majungasaurus. So Majungasaurus would actually be hunting Rapetosaurus, but mainly the juveniles, because the healthy, full-grown Rapetosaurus can handle its own against Majungasaurus, a single Majungasaurus. But then when you actually have maybe two Majungasaurus actually come into the mix, it could still hold its own, whereas juvenile can't. And so juveniles are actually going to be more vulnerable to Majungasaurus. And then when you actually have a Rapetosaurus that has a really long tail, it's got a long neck, and it uses its body size even though on a small island, would be its best defense, its size. But then when you actually see that it's got a really long tail, so it's got a long tail for whipping at the predators, so mainly whipping at Majungasaurus. And if a Majungasaurus actually gets a little too close, and if it wants to rear up and show its massive body, and then if the Majungasaurus gets a little bit too close and kind of underneath the Rapetosaurus can squash the Majungasaurus. But we still don't have any fossil evidence of actually showing that. But even though the tail whipping would probably be more likely defense against Majungasaurus. And being a titanosaur, it is actually going to have to have good amounts of food to eat. So it's probably going to eat a lot of ferns, a lot of cycads to eat, and the teeth are in the front of the mouth, and so it's not really going to be a chewing animal. So this is going to be stripping leaves from low shrubbing plants. Now there are some illustrations showing it probably had its head way up in the air, but I highly doubt it, considering that the body type of Rapetosaurus would probably have a body type that is similar to the kind of like the Diplodocids, is that it's got a very straight line, horizontal backbone. Whereas, say Brachiosaurus is kind of like a very different type of sauropod, where it's got those really long forearms and short back legs, and so its neck is going to be going in a diagonal angle, whereas I think Rapetosaurus is going to be horizontal. It's going to be a plain horizontal angle, so it's going to be just a flat 0 degree angle for Rapetosaurus for its neck, and the tail will be the same way. It's going to be very straight. And pretty much the extinction of Rapetosaurus is pretty much going to be the same event that actually caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. And so, even though the asteroid was pretty much thousands of miles away from Madagascar, Madagascar would have actually felt huge earthquakes. And so the earthquakes would have been powerful enough to knock animals right off their feet. And then you actually have huge tsunamis. These tsunamis would be hundreds of miles high, and so wiping out anything on the island of Madagascar. And so that actually probably caused the extinction of Rapetosaurus. Rapetosaurus was not going to survive pretty much a tsunami that was probably going to be hundreds of miles high, and that would actually be pretty much its death was drowning. And so, and then any animal that probably tried to survive that in Madagascar was not going to live very long. And so, the only animals that actually lived much longer were animals that could possibly burrow and actually hide in treetops. And so that's probably why you actually have some of these weird-looking lemurs that are actually still roaming around Madagascar. And so their common ancestors were pretty much actually living in burrows or otherwise and high in the treetops. And so that's probably how you actually get those types of animals there in Madagascar, because Madagascar is still a living laboratory. And so it has actually got numerous amounts of species that are still being discovered there. And so that is pretty unique. And so hopefully more dinosaurs are being discovered in Madagascar. And so hopefully we can actually find more and more Rapetosaurus and Majungasaurus and a few other dinosaurs that actually lived in Madagascar at that time, in particular probably time as well in the late Cretaceous. Alright, that's it for now. The next week will be a Q&A episode, so if you get any questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you can actually post your questions in the comment section or even on any Facebook, or even on the wall of the Facebook page. But remember, keep your questions short and to the point. You could also follow me on Twitter at CSGILL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of the people around you, and also for younger people out there, and make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you do a good job in the future. All right, that's it for now. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next week.